It's 1982. You walk down a flight of brick steps, push open a heavy wooden door, and you're instantly wrapped in the smell of stale beer, old wood, and the sound of familiar laughter. You grab a seat at the counter, a cold mug slides your way, and out of nowhere, 80 people call your name. That feeling is exactly why a single basement bar in Boston became the absolute center of the television universe for 11 seasons and 275 episodes. But honestly, the craziest part of the story is that it almost never happened. It's great to have you back. I'm Moonlight Peterson, and today we're pulling up a bar stool, pouring something cold, and hanging out at Cheers. We're going to dive deep into the history of a show that didn't just dominate Thursday nights for over a decade. It completely perfected the television sitcom. We're talking about the insane cast chemistry, the behind-the-scenes gambles that should have ruined the show, and how they managed to pull off one of the biggest finales in TV history. So settle into your favorite booth, grab a handful of peanuts, and do me a huge favor. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support helps us to continue to grow this community. To understand why Cheers is nothing short of a miracle, you have to look back to the fall of 1982. The show was dreamed up by Glenn and Les Charles along with James Burrows, the exact same brilliant minds who had previously given us Taxi. Now, their pitch to the network was beautifully simple. A workplace comedy set entirely inside the four walls of a bar, driven by that classic slow burn, will they or won't they romantic tension. On one side, you had a blue-collar ex-Major League Baseball pitcher. On the other side, you had the highbrow, fiercely academic college graduate. NBC greenlit the project, and the pilot episode hit the airwaves on September 30th, 1982. The television critics absolutely flipped for it. They praised the razor-sharp writing, the theatrical way the actors moved around the set, and the immediate, undeniable chemistry of the ensemble. There was just one massive problem. Literally nobody watched it. During its first season, Cheers didn't just struggle. It ranked dead last in the Nielsen ratings. I mean that quite literally. For its premiere week, it came in 74th out of 74 shows on the air. In today's ruthless television landscape, a show pulling numbers that disastrous would be canceled before the commercial break of the third episode. 1982 was completely different. NBC's entertainment president, Brandon Tartikoff, saw the absolute creative brilliance of what they were building and refused to pull the plug. He gave it time to breathe. And man, did that patience pay off. Over the summer rerun season, when there was nothing else on, audiences finally stumbled down those brick steps and into the bar. By season 2, it skyrocketed into the top 20. By season 4, it was anchoring NBC's legendary must-see TV Thursday night lineup, eventually hitting the #1 spot in the entire country. It just goes to show you that great comedy isn't always an overnight explosion. Sometimes it's just a slow, steady climb to the top. So, what was it that kept people coming back to the basement bar week after week? Honestly, it all came down to one of the greatest casts in television history. Right at the center of the storm, you had Sam Malone, played with this effortless, incredibly charming charisma by Ted Danson. And matching him stride for stride was Diane Chambers, brought to life with brilliant, neurotic perfection by Shelley Long. That lightning-in-a-bottle chemistry between a smooth, recovering alcoholic bartender and an over-analytical, beautifully snobbish waitress didn't just work. It set the absolute gold standard for every single television romance that followed. But as any bartender will tell you, bar is only as good as its regulars, and Cheers had the absolute best in the business. You had Coach, the sweet, fiercely loyal, and hilariously forgetful bartender played by Nicholas Colasanto. You had Carla Tortorelli, the fierce, insult-slinging cocktail waitress who you definitely didn't want to cross. Then, of course, you had the twin anchors of the corner bar stools. Norm Peterson, who got that iconic, thunderous shout of his name every single time he pushed open the door. And Cliff Clavin, the local postal worker who operated as a walking fountain of completely fabricated trivia. Now, here's where the true genius of Cheers comes into play. Its uncanny ability to survive massive change. Most sitcoms completely collapse the second a major character leaves the building. But the writers of Cheers turned those cast departures into a literal masterclass in creative reinvention. When Nicholas Colasanto tragically passed away in 1985, the show didn't make the mistake of trying to clone Coach. Instead, they took a completely different route, brought in a young, unknown Woody Harrelson as Woody Boyd, a naive, sweet farm boy from Indiana. He brought this completely fresh, beautifully innocent energy that totally revitalized the workplace. Then came the ultimate test in 1987. Shelley Long decided to walk away from the show at the absolute peak of its popularity. It was a terrifying moment because the Sam and Diane dynamic was the literal engine of the entire series. But instead of trying to find a new Diane, the writers pivoted beautifully. They introduced Kirstie Alley as Rebecca Howe, high-strung, fiercely ambitious corporate manager who, unlike Diane, was completely immune to Sam's usual charms and spent most of her time melting down over her own chaotic career and love life. When you pair her chaotic energy with the brilliant expansion of Kelsey Grammer's Frasier Crane, something magical happened. The show didn't just survive losing its leading lady, it actually evolved, found a whole new comedic gear, and ran for another 6 glorious seasons. By the time 1993 rolled around, after 11 incredible years at the absolute top of the mountain, Ted Danson decided it was finally time to hang up Sam Malone's bartender apron. And instead of making the mistake of pushing forward without their anchor, the creators wisely chose to let the show go out on a high note. On May 20th, 1993, the world basically stopped to watch the 90-minute series finale, One for the Road. Honestly, the sheer cultural footprint of that single night is almost impossible to wrap your head around in today's fractured streaming era. An estimated 93 million viewers turned in all at once. To put that into perspective, that's nearly 40% of the entire United States population at the time sitting down to watch a single sitcom finale. It instantly became the second most watched series finale in television history, trailing only the final episode of MASH. The writers brought back Shelley Long's Diane Chambers for a beautiful, bittersweet, full-circle moment. Sam and Diane briefly think about running away together to finally get their happy ending, only to realize that their lives have just moved in completely different directions. They part as friends, quietly recognizing that the passionate, chaotic spark they once shared belongs to the past.
Have a good life.
Man, those final moments of the episode are pure poetry. The regulars leave the bar one by one, till Norm finally walks out into the night, leaving Sam all alone in the dimly lit room, and walks back toward the door. Just then, a customer knocks on the glass door, looking to get in, and Sam delivers the final line of the entire franchise. Sorry, we're closed. The lights go out, the screen fades to black, and an entire era of television officially came to an end. So why does Cheers still hold up so perfectly today? Why do so many of us find ourselves streaming it late at night, decades after the last real drink was poured? Because at its absolute core, Cheers understood a fundamental human truth. Everybody needs a place to go where they feel accepted, flaws and all. That basement wasn't just a spot to grab a beer, it was a sanctuary. It was a communal living room for a collection of beautifully broken, fiercely loyal people who ultimately became a family. It didn't matter if you were a wealthy, over-analytical psychiatrist like Frasier, or a down-on-your-luck accountant like Norm. The second you walked down those famous brick steps, the playing field was leveled. You were equal, and you were home. That's our look back at Cheers for today. Now I want to hear from you. Who was your favorite Cheers regular? And we have to settle the age-old debate. Are you Team Diane or Team Rebecca? Let me know in the comments or track us down on social media at Bite Size Nostalgia. If you're loving these nostalgic trips down memory lane, don't forget to check out my book, So You Think You Know the 80s, Available right now on Amazon for even more deep dives into the pop culture landscape that defined a generation. I'm Moonlight Peterson, keeping the classic frequency alive. Till next time, save me a seat at the bar.